to Nefer-Aten. The Aten is radiant of radiance because the beautiful one is come, and some others translated as perfect one of Aten's perfection. Akhenaten changed thousands of years of art in Egypt. Gone were the images of Ammon and the other gods of Egypt, and replaced them by the solar disk, Aten. When he built his monuments with images of the pharaoh, he moved away from the traditions of a strong, handsome, muscular pharaoh. Images of pharaohs with idealized bodies were gone. The pharaoh was shown as misshapen, as was his wife Nefertiti. It became fashionable to show images of the entire royal family with elongated heads, faces, fingers, toes, white hips. This gave the artists of Amarna new freedom to show scenes of the real life of the pharaoh, something that had never been done before. The temple was covered with scenes of the Aten, the sun disk with its rays shining down, ending in hands holding axe, the hieroglyph for life. The people wondered why the images of other gods were not represented. The beginning of Akhenaten's reign marked no great discontinuity with that of his predecessors. Not only he was crowned at Karnak temple, but also like his father, he married a lady of non-royal blood, Nefertiti, the daughter of the vizier Ay. As talking of the cult of the Aten, the 10th king of the 18th dynasty was perhaps the most controversial because of his break with traditional religion. Some people believe that he was the most remarkable king to sit upon Egypt's throne. Akhenaten was traditionally raised by his parents, Amenhotep III and Queen Tia, by worshipping Ammon. But Akhenaten, however, preferred Aten, the sun god that was worshipped in earlier times. Amenhotep III had recognized the growing power of the priesthood of Ammon and had sought to curb it. His son was to take the matter a lot further by introducing a new monotheistic cult of sun worship that was incarnate in the sun's disk, the Aten. So Amenhotep III started, but Akhenaten took it more seriously. When he early in his reign he changed his name to Akhenaten, just as we mentioned, meaning he who is of service to Aten. He also renamed his queen, which is beautiful of the beauty of Aten. At first the king, Akhenaten, built a temple to his god Aten immediately outside the east gate of the temple of Ammon at Karnak. But clearly the coexistence of the two cults could not last. He therefore prescribed the cult of Ammon, closed the god's temple, took over the revenues. He then sent his officials around to destroy Ammon's statues. These actions were so contrary to the traditional that opposition arose against him. While the estates of the great temples of Thebes, Memphis, and Heliopolis reverted to the throne. Unjust corruption grew out of the mismanagement, and to make a complete break, in the 6th year, the king and his queen left Thebes behind and moved to the new capital in the Middle Egypt. It was a virgin site at that time. Today, the site is known as El Amarna. Tel El Amarna was formerly known as Akhenaten. The new name came from a local village called El Tel. The word Amarna came from the Bedouin tribe that settled in this village. The word Tel in Arabic means a mound or a small hill. But interestingly, Tel El Amarna is a flat piece of land beside the Nile Valley. The ancient name Akhenaten means the horizon of the solar disk. It is very similar to the meaning of Ammon, dwelt at Thebes. So, this place was offered to the god Aten. What the area is a plain field, separated from the Nile Valley by a strip of palm trees. It is really a beautiful area. It stretches 12 kilometers from north to south. The area is covered mostly with sand and outlined with ruins of temples, palaces, and houses. Some tourists believe that it is one of the most romantic places they have ever seen because of the silence and the peaceful beauty that the area gained through the centuries. There are some important places to stop at here. There are more than 25 tombs facing the base of the cliff front. 6 tombs are located at the north side near Darb el-Malik. 19 of them are located at the south side. If you are going to navigate through the tombs, it is important. Most of the tombs start with an open court that leads to the 3 chambers. Some of the tombs are decorated with papyrus columns that meet at recess in the rear end, which have a statue of the deceased looking toward the entrance. Also, there is the Great Aten Temple, as well as the small one. They were, of course, solar temples, with the essential elements consisting of a small obelisk on a high base and an altar. Those solar temples had been built during the Old Kingdom, and the worship of the Aten did not require the equipment and architectural elements found in those older establishments, with the exception of the altar. There are also the pylons as entrance fronts to the court. The most basic element of an Aten temple is the altar, to which a ramp or stairway ascends from the west in the middle of the court, surrounded by a temenos wall. And the altar platform could occasionally be surrounded by a wall and fronted with a porch. The Great Aten Temple is on the northern edge of the central city. It is partly covered over by the modern cemetery of Tel. In recent years, some consolidation and restoration has been carried out at the small Aten Temple. This included the erection of a replica column. A prominent brick enclosure wall also remains, which was once strengthened by towers on the outside. There are brick pylons at the entrance, and others which subdivided the interior of this building. In the back of the temple stood the sanctuary, originally built of limestone and sandstone. This temple had a foundation layer of gypsum that is now covered over by sand. However, modern stone blocks have been laid atop the sand in order to provide the basic outlines of this temple. A circular walk beginning at the middle of the north side of this small temple's enclosure reveals other parts of the central city. There is a tall ridge of sand and some rubble that runs northward from across the street through the middle of a small palace built of mud brick, known as the King's House. Probably it was accommodated by the royal family on their visits from their north palace. But anyway, this was a general look on El Amarna. Well, Amarna is a beautiful place to visit. Minya in general is one of the most beautiful places to visit. It has got many of the important and historical sites to stop at, and each of these places is important to visit because you can learn a lot about ancient history and a lot about ancient pharaohs, especially the area of the tombs. Today we were trying to concentrate on one of the pharaohs who ruled Egypt for 17 years and played an important role in ancient history. But Akhenaten is not the only important leader in ancient history. There are more, and there are more important places to visit. We will try as much as we can to provide you with more information every time about some of the important places that one can visit in Egypt, and through which one can learn a lot of information about ancient history and civilization.